Now recording the session, and today we're going to be focusing on conversation activities. Are you able to see the conversation activities?
Yes.
Yes, sure.
The conversation activities guideline. This is on the Canvas platform. So when you go to this spot in the Canvas platform, it's down after the midterm exam. So it's quite a ways down on the platform under modules. You've got all these points that are listed about how to design a conversation activity. So the conversation activities, depending on whether you're in foundation, advanced, or diploma program, you're going to be doing 10 or 12 conversation activities. So this is a practical approach to the introduction to designing these. And the point of all of this information is to help you to put together conversation activity lesson plans that you could use with students. So you're asked to list the number of students, the level of the students and their basic knowledge in the selected language. And when they say the level of students, they're talking about the English language proficiency level that they're at. So you can identify the assessment level, the proficiency level of the students by giving an assessment test to your group of students at the beginning of the first class. And it helps you a lot to be able to identify who is at what level with their English language proficiency. If you have students who cannot put a full sentence together, then they're going to need a bit more assistance and instruction than the students who are able to speak quite fluently in the English language. So assessing the students' proficiency level, that's the pre-assessment. Assessing their English language level before you get into the formal instruction is a beneficial thing for you to do. You're asked to identify the average age of the students you're dealing with and to explain what is your knowledge of their professional and educational background and interests. Because you might have a group of students, you could have some adult students where one is a chef, one is a waiter, and another one is a pilot. They're all in the same class. And how would you create a lesson that would fit all of those people? Well, there's a suggestion here, and that is that the best kind of activity would be ones dealing with food, menus, and the process of serving food on an airplane. So that way you could relate to all of the people in the classroom, and it becomes a valid exercise for each of them. You're asked to identify the student's first language, the mother tongue, and cultural background. This comes into effect because depending on the background of the student, for instance, students who are from Japan, they don't read some letters the same way that we do. In Japanese, the R is read as an L, so radio would sound like ladio for Japanese people. In Portuguese, the R is read as an H, and so that can make rock and roll to sound like hawk and hole. So different languages and different cultures have different traditions and different things that you need to become aware of. And there are a number of things explained here. Arabic has different sounds that do not exist in English. And English has letters and sounds that do not exist in Arabic. So it's important to understand all of that and bring everything into your lesson plan. The time duration that is specified for the conversation activity. We like to see conversation activity lessons that are not more than 45 minutes long, because after 45 minutes, that's kind of the limit that the students can work on one lesson plan for. They need a break. They need to be doing something else for a change. And so if you make your lesson plan 30 to 45 minutes, that is a good length. And the environment of practice, is it native or non-native? Is it in a classroom, online, or on the phone? If you're doing a native English class and you're in Canada, for instance, and you are teaching an English class to students who do not have English as their first language, because you're in Canada and therefore you're in a native environment and you're teaching English as their second language to them. But if you were in Iran or Turkey or Arabia and you were teaching English to students over there, you would be teaching English as a foreign language, because they're the native language for those people. In Iran, it would be Farsi. In Turkey and in Arabia, it would be Arabic, Turkish in Turkey. But because you're teaching English to them as another language, it's English as a foreign language when you're in countries. So that's a non-native area. It's important to understand the differentiation between native and non-native. If you have any questions as we're going along, please feel free to ask. I want you to have a good understanding of this. Now, there are many more categories that are listed here, but what I did was I took all of these items and I put them onto this PDF document, Conversation Activity Assessment Form, which I used when I mark the conversation activity assignments that are submitted by you students. Are you able to see this assessment form, this PDF?
We're still in the
Can
same
you see
document,
that
I
PDF,
think.
Olga?
We're still in the original document.
No,
I
I
think.
see. Where are we supposed to see it? On our Canvas platform after all this text, or where are we supposed to see that PDF document?
Well, the PDF document, let me see if I can find it and share it. Okay, this PDF document I'm talking about, it's a form that I created. And I've got it open on my desktop here, but I don't know why I'm not able to share it. It won't come up on the share screen.
Do you have it on a different screen when you open it? Do you have it on a different screen than the Canvas? Maybe you should just switch the screens when you press share, normally you are able to switch the screens you are showing.
Yes, I know, but I can't get it to do that right now for me. So are you, let's go back to the Canvas platform.
Dear Daniel, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Malahay.
Yeah. I've done this assignment in advance and I've sent it to Mr. Simon, but I didn't find the checklist in the platform. And when I design these activities, I always think about that I would teach in Canada and I will be in the classes with different cultures, with variety of students, with varieties of languages. But I couldn't predict the difficulties because, for example,
Are you able to see the Canvas platform again, the conversation activities?
Yeah.
Yes.
and I can
Okay, we're going to continue. I'm going to continue, Malahay, because you're breaking up and I can't understand what you're saying because I can't hear you clearly. I think you have a bad internet connection again. So, folks, all of these sections in the Canvas platform, I took all of these main headings and I created my PDF document. The PDF document is not on the Canvas platform. I created it to use it for marking. So you won't find it on the Canvas platform, but I am going to offer to send it to you. I will email you the PDF. So if you would like that PDF, please send me an email and ask me to send you the PDF because I'm not able to share it. I don't know why, but I'm not able to share it with you here. This platform is just giving me a lot of grief these days. So if you'd like that PDF, please request it and I will send it back to you. That's not a problem, but it just summarizes what you see on the Canvas platform, okay? So here it says, here's where it describes the actual assignment for you. After going over the attached samples of conversation activities, your assignment is to design 10 conversation activities with 30 to 45-minute durations each. Now that's 10 for foundation and 12 for diploma.
What
There are
about
some
advanced?
sample conversation activities down here. These
Excuse me.
samples, be very careful that you don't follow them too closely because they're from before the pandemic, and so they do not always have they don't always have everything that you're asked to include. So we want to see you have pictures, and we want to see you have video links and that sort of thing in your conversation activities as well. So be sure to include all those types of things. Now I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try to share my conversation activity assignment so I can show that to you. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we'll give it a try. I'll just get mine opened up here. And for some reason, I am not able to. Oh, I think I've got it. Are you able to see my 12 conversation activities?
Yes.
Okay. So my first conversation activity, now the very first thing I always do, I have this introductory statement, this page. Let me just expand this. I'll make it bigger so you can read it. I just always include an introductory page like this out of curiosity. And because I think it helps the people when they're reading through my document. You don't have to include something like this. That's just the way I put together an assignment. Keep in mind with students that there are three main types of learning: visual, audio, and kinesthetic. The kinesthetic is doing things, building things with your hands and making things with your hands. So kinesthetic is closely related to learning a vocation. So plumbers and carpenters, automobile mechanics, they learn primarily by kinesthetic process because they're using their hands to build things. So the vast majority of people on the planet are visual learners. Visual learners represent about 68% of all people on Earth. So most of us are visual learners. I'm a visual learner. I learn best by seeing pictures of things or by seeing things. I'm a visual learner. But even though I'm a visual learner predominantly, I also learn through hearing things and by building things, doing things with my hands. So we all have all three of these learning styles within our person, within ourselves, but one is usually dominant. So here in my first conversation activity, it's about shopping for groceries. So you see here, I've got the number of students, the basic, the level of their students, the basic to low intermediate, average age, length of my classroom. I've got all these details that the Canvas platform wanted us to put together. I've identified the methods that I'll use in the class. And then I've got pictures that I went to the internet and found pictures related to shopping, grocery shopping. And I even have a video link here that is about shopping and people buying groceries. So we want to see you put pictures and video links into your lesson plans, because that will make the lesson plan very complete. Okay? Now, I'm also willing to send you this PDF of my conversation lesson plans for you to have a look at, and you can see how I put mine together. All I ask is that you do not copy my lessons. You must come up with your own lessons. You must create your own topics, come up with your own ideas and your own lessons. You know, about a year and a half ago with a TESOL class, I had one TESOL student who asked me to send him a couple of my assignments so that he could use them as reference. And so I did. I'm always happy to share what I do with people, and so they can see what I've done and they can get ideas about how to build things and put assignments together. But what he did, he took my assignments, and all he did was he put his name on the front page and he handed the assignment back in as if he had written it. And he sent it back to me to mark. And I sent him an email and I said I was very flattered that he thought my assignment was so good that he decided to use it himself. But I said that is absolute plagiarism and not allowed. So I said he had to create his own assignment and write it in his own words, that he could not just use my assignment and put his name on it. Doesn't work that way. So he did create his own, and he resubmitted the assignment. It was definitely his the second time because he had a certain style of speaking that I recognized in his writing. So my message got through to him. So if you want to see my assignments to get some ideas about how I put mine together, I'm happy to send it to you. Just please don't copy it. Make up your own ideas and come up with your own assignments. Are there any questions about this, folks? I'm just scrolling through my assignments so you can sort of have an overview about it.
Daniel, for the 12,
Should we send an email to you for having this copy or having this PDF?
I'm sorry, Celeste, you had a question there a moment ago.
yeah, I was going to say the 12 assignments. Can we make an assumption that it's the same class, or do you want us to vary the class learners for the 12?
You do need to vary the class. You need to have a variety of proficiency levels and a variety of age levels. So you see here in this instance, I've got the topic is ordering from a menu, either takeaway or in a restaurant. Now I've said there are 18 students and they're from all levels of proficiency. So that's different than my other groups. So yes, we want to see some different varieties of proficiency levels and different numbers. To give an example of and a sampling of what you would find in actual classrooms, because you get into teaching situations, you're not always going to have the same group of students perfectly the same every time, you know. Every group of students will be different than another group.
Would you please put your email here that we can ask you for this?
Certainly. I'll put it in the chat box right now, Malahay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. There you go. There's my email address. So you should also include any handouts that you might give to students. So in this particular lesson that you're looking at right now, this is about map reading and establishing an itinerary. So this is downtown Toronto and the CN Tower. So they have to map out, the students have to map out a route from Union Station to the CN Tower. So I would give them a handout of this map. And so you need to include pictures of any handouts that you would give. And here's a map. I copied this image from Google Maps. It's got the route marked right on it from Union Station down along Front Street around to the CN Tower. So any handouts that you would give, You need to describe them, but also show a picture of them. This was a favorite lesson that I put together about going for a picnic in the park. Anything related to food is always exciting for me. Look at these desserts. Don't they look good? And all of these, I took all these pictures from Google Clip Art. Everything is free on Google Clip Art, so you can get them there. You can get pictures there and other places as well. But always give your source for your pictures. So these images I took from the Dreams Time website. And it's always important to give your reference for where you got the free images from. And you can just type it in small print like I did there. Type it right directly below the image. That's fine. So that gives you a little bit of an idea. Now here's an assignment for a business trip. These is for business people. So you see all these groups of people that I'm using are different groups of people. Does this help, Celeste, to answer your question?
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So here I've got business people traveling, going through the airport, meeting in a conference room. We need a passport and booking the hotel rooms and all that sort of thing. So I've got all of that laid out here in the directions, and I've got the a script, a role play script here between student volunteers to act as the BT, the business traveler, and the hotel receptionist. So I've got a script here that you can have the students read this out and act out or role play a transaction there as the business traveler signs into the hotel. This is a walk-in clinic visit with a doctor. So totally different again. You know, when people come to Canada from another country, they are probably unfamiliar with our healthcare system. So having a class on the process of finding a doctor and dealing with healthcare issues, having a class on that could be a helpful and useful thing for them to understand. Even talking about using a walk-in clinic if they're not able to actually find a doctor. And these days in Canada, finding a doctor, finding a family doctor is a difficult thing. The doctors are in short supply. So if somebody goes through a lesson in school about how to talk to a doctor in a walk-in clinic, that could be very helpful and useful for them. And then this one is for children. So the subject headline is the route from home to school. So here you would have the kids talk about, you'd have the students talk about how they get from home to school, what their route is, what they walk past, or do they ride their bicycles, or how do they get there? And then they can actually draw with markers or crayons on paper. They could draw their route that they would go through on their way to school. And they can illustrate their drawings with trees and more houses, traffic lights, and other things that they would find on the streets on the way to school. And my number 11 one is health health choices, lifestyle choices. So exercise routines and food choices, things that are good and things that are not good. Look at that big red X through the hamburgers and the pie and the pizza, the hot dogs. Oh, that hurts. You know, that red X, that really hurts. Those are all my favorite foods. French fries, a double patty burger. Oh well, on to healthier things. Get out the fruit. And then meeting new people. Again, coming from different cultural backgrounds, people who come to Canada, having the opportunity to meet new people in social gatherings and in public places and even in their workplace. It's an opportunity for you to have a class to help them become more in tune with meeting new people in a different environment than they're used to. So those are my 12 examples, my 12 samples. Be sure to look for lots of pictures and video links, YouTube video links. And when you send your assignment in, if you send it as a Word document, then the video links will work more easily. These video links in this PDF document, they don't always work that well, unfortunately, because when I mark assignments, I check all the links. I watch all the videos that people include in their assignments. So you want to make sure the links are working so that when we mark them, we're able to see the videos as well. Okay? Any questions, ladies?
Yeah. Can I have a question?
Yes, go ahead, Malahay.
Yeah, I told you that I have sent the assignment in advance for Simon, but I provided some PowerPoint file, and for each lesson plan, I actually provided a PowerPoint. Is it possible that I change it and I put the PowerPoint in the Word Word file
Well,
and resend it?
if you created your conversation activities as PowerPoints, that's just fine. That's not a problem at all.
Mhm.
Some people did create PowerPoints that showed the assignment. They just took they took all the information that I've got and they just divided it onto different slides in the PowerPoint presentation. And that's just fine too. That's not a problem at all.
Okay, thank you very much.
This is just the style of how I did mine, which started as a Word document and then I turned it into a PDF. But if you want to create yours as a PowerPoint, that's just fine too. Not a problem. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, ladies?
May I?
Yes, Olga, go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for sharing this with us. That is really helpful. And secondly, the first question I have is if I have an advanced program, not a diploma one, not a foundation one, but advanced, do I need to provide 10 or 12 conversation activities?
For advanced, it's I believe it is still 10 conversation activities for advanced.
Okay, thank you. And my another question is, thank you for sharing those tips on where to find free images, but what about videos? when you provide a link to a video on YouTube, do you contact the author of that channel prior to providing that link? Or, well, is it necessary to do it, provided that we are not going to earn money on it? I mean, so can we just provide that link without contacting the author of the channel, or should we contact the author first?
Well, if you are providing a YouTube link in your conversation activity, the link itself gives all the information you need as a reference.
Okay, good. Thank you. Great.
So you don't need to add anything else because it's obvious when it's from YouTube because it says YouTube right in the link.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to contact the author of the channel, YouTube channel, and ask
Oh,
them for
no.
permission to share the link to that video.
No, you don't need to do that because when people put things up on YouTube, as soon as it's up on YouTube, it's out there in the public. Anybody can use it.
Great, thank you.
So if you have access to it, you don't need to request permission. And I think I just figured out how to show you the PDF of my conversation activity assessment. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
Very good. I finally figured that out. So you can see I've got all the different headings that are on the Canvas platform. So I'll still email this to you if you want me to. Send me an email, request it. I'll still send it to you, and you can use this as a guideline when you're creating your lessons, because this has all the headings that you need to include from the Canvas platform. Okay? Any questions about that?
No, thank you very much.
Okay. Any questions about anything so far in the course?
May I?
Yes, Olga, go ahead.
I always have a lot of questions. Sorry about that. Thank you. So, my primary question right now is one for advice. So, I would like to ask you for advice on how to plan my work now, because we are going to have our midterm exam in 2 weeks, and that exam is based on the 2 modules. I have already covered those. I still need to finish my essay, but as for the rest, I have studied the material, I did all the quizzes, and now I still have 2 weeks. And my question is, should I focus on revising for the exam and finishing my essay, or should I continue working on Canvas? What would be the best strategy? I mean, because I'm a little bit worried about it, that if I focus on other things, I might forget something I need for the exam. So, but if I don't continue working on Canvas right now, will I have enough time to catch up later after the exam?
Yes, I think you would have enough time later to catch up. I think you should focus on module 1 and module 2 and get your foundation essay finished.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Yes, that's what I think you should do. I mean, with these conversation activities, you can always start working on them, because when you're working on something like the conversation activities, you don't have to do all 10 or 12 of them all in one evening. You can start working on them and do a little bit of work on one each day, you know. Spend 20 minutes or half an hour working on a conversation activity and then go and do more reading and studying, and kind of divide it up a little bit that way.
Thank you.
What
You're welcome.
about the content of our midterm exam? Is it enough just to read TESOL Canada handout?
If you study modules 1 and 2 on the Canvas platform, that covers all the material that you will need to know for the midterm exam.
Are there
Okay,
grammatical
thank you.
components or is it mostly methodologies?
Well, definitely methodologies are very important on the midterm exam. It's a combination of short answers, so true, false, and choosing A, B, C, D, that sort of thing, as well as some short paragraph answers and then longer essay answers. But it's all based on the methodology, so you need to know the methodologies very well.
Thank you.
You need to know the difference between GTM, ALM, NFS, TPR, immersion, direct, CLT. You need to know the difference between all of those. And you need to have a good idea of the order that they occurred in. So the GTM, the grammar translation method, was the oldest and the longest standing methodology going back thousands of years. And then in the late 1800s, the direct method was developed. And what's another name for direct method?
Natural method.
Yes, it is a very natural style of learning a language, but there was a man who put his name on the direct method so that he could create his own method with his own name on it. Do you remember his name?
It starts with
Pearls?
B.
I'm sorry, what was that, Olga?
I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but I remember it does start with B.
That's correct.
Pearls? Pearls?
His name
Something
starts
Pearls?
with the letter B. Berlitz. Charles Berlitz in the early 1900s wanted to put his own name to a methodology, and he liked the direct method so much that he copied the direct method and called it the Berlitz method. So you need to know information like that, and you need to be aware of Noam Chomsky and B.F. Skinner and people like that, and Krashen. You need to be familiar with their theories of language acquisition. So be sure to study modules 1 and 2 on the Canvas platform. Study those very thoroughly. Okay, do we have any other questions, ladies?
No, thank you very much for the session.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's very useful and informative as always.
Good, you're welcome. I'm glad we actually got the platform to work today so that I could let you into the session. Last week, there was one day last week, Olga was the only one who was able to get into the session with me. So we had the class just by ourselves. I knew some of
Olga
you,
had a tutor.
I knew the others
Yeah,
were waiting
I
in
like
the
it.
lobby.
Sorry, no, guys. I like working with you as well, but that was a special experience.
Yes.
That was really exciting.
I also waited in the lobby.
I know, and I apologize. I had no way of letting you in because
And
I
that's
didn't
so
have
strange because I didn't have that message that I had to wait in the lobby. I just went in and it just happened for me last week. This week I had some problems getting in as well. I don't know why. First I got in, I could see Daniel, then Daniel disappeared and I was the presenter. I went out and then when I went in, I couldn't see anyone. So
I know. Well, we are having difficulties with the platform, no doubt about that. So I'm going to stop the recording now.